Hi, this is Eric from Cafe Watercolor and welcome to another Quickie video. So the previous two Quickie videos are scenery painting, so I thought I'd do a portrait this time, and a child portrait to be specific. This girl's name is Abby and she is my friend's daughter. She's half Taiwanese and half Canadian, so she is a mix. She's a very cute, beautiful kid, so I decided to do her. And I took this profile photo of her, so I used that as a reference. Now, profile is a little bit easier than your typical quarter view or frontal view of a portrait, because you really just need to worry about the silhouette of the face. However, the proportion still needs to be accurate. And I said it before, if you do a portrait and without understanding the proportion of a human head, people will find something weird about it and they will call it out even if they cannot tell you specifically what do they feel weird about. If you didn't get the proportion right, something will feel off. Because human face is something that we see every day, so it's very easy for people to tell if there's something off about the face. So when doing a portrait, the first thing is to have the proportion down so it actually looks natural. And the second thing is the likeness of the person you're actually trying to paint. And believe it or not, if you get the structure and the proportion down, the likeness is actually not that difficult to achieve. So I am doing the first wash. The first wash is basically just the basic flesh tones and try to get some warm and cool established on her face. Now while the wash is still wet, I can drop in some darker, warmer color, especially on the nose area and some of the place that I know is going to be cooler color. I also drop those in. And after the first wash is completely dry, I start to render the eye and start going outward. So from the eyes, I start to render her cheek and the upper eyelid, trying to get the structure in. And when you're doing a portrait of a girl, especially a young child like her, you don't want to emphasize on shadows and detail too much. The more shadow you emphasize, the older the person is going to look. So when I'm painting a portrait of a girl or a young child, the shadow area, I'll try to make it very subtle. It just needs a little bit of difference for it to tell the form. And especially the economic of the brushstroke. When you're doing a portrait, try to do it as few brushstroke as you possibly can. The more brushstroke you put on the face, the more muddy it's going to look. And for the face and watercolor, you really want to try to achieve the fresh look of a watercolor. You don't want the face to look dirty and weird out. So as few brushstroke as you possibly can. Now where to put those brushstroke, that largely depends on your understanding of human facial structures. Each brushstroke I try to put on, I try to follow a specific structure of the face. And also what's very important is I try to do a brushstroke and I try to soften the edge on the side, usually with a clean, damp brush. But at the same time, I don't overdo it. I'm not dabbing 100 strokes to make a shape. Usually I try to make a shape with as few brush strokes as I can. And the softening part is really just to soften the edge of the shape that I put down. So for a child's portrait like her, the forehead is very extruded out, and as well as the lips. And those are the things that you really want to capture down. A young child's head, the forehead is proportionally bigger than an adult head, so that is something to also look out for. Now I'm doing the hair. Now at the hair, I usually like to push the color just a little bit more. So I add a little bit more blue and red just to make it a little bit more interesting. But at the same time, I still need to watch out for the value. But as long as the value is correct, you can push the color a little bit more and it'll still look okay. Now there's some part of her hair that is a little bit thinner, so you actually start to see the skin underneath. So I'm trying to hint that subtly by pre-wet the shape first and then paint some of the shape on it. So there's a lot of nice soft shape on her hair area. And also it is important to have a soft edge here and there between the hair and the skin. That gives a nice transition. I'm just adding a little bit more dark color just to show the form a little bit better. And treat the hair as some big shapes. You only really need a little bit of detail on the end of the hair to show some hair strength. But the majority part of the hair, treat it as a group of shapes of light and dark. Now I'm doing her clothes. Just do a rough shape on it and drop in some dark, so it shows a little bit of form very subtly. I usually try not to do too much on the clothes because I don't want to take the attention away from the face. And as I paint the clothes, I extend out to the background. And for this painting, I want some kind of pastel looking color because she is a little girl. So I have some pink and some yellow. And they are very, very light. So I'm just adding a little bit more shadows on her face just to describe the form a little bit better, and there we have it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this quick video. Please visit my website at cafewatercolor.com. Sign up for my Fast Track Watercolor PDF guide. And please like, subscribe, and comment. I will see you next time.